Hello everyone and welcome to battle number 22. Yeah, battle number 22 of Battle of the Beasts All Generation, episode 22 as I just said. Yeah, I did briefly just lose count, but I remembered it now. Whilst I'm recording this, Lucas is sending me pictures of the stat cards for the for some of the beasts. So for the beasts of the old generation and the special generation. The new generation one's just going to have a few edits to it with the abilities and all that. And I did say I was going to make a video about this, and there it is. So, so that's kind of good. So there are some abilities which we did miss out on the new generation beasts, which we are adding on now. So that's why the stat cards may be a bit different to what you may remember. But apart from that, nothing really much else changes. We are also adding some abilities that we feel like they can have as well. So, for example, Sultra is not listed on the Beast Quest wiki to be able to bring a fog with her or mist with her. But considering her weakness is sunlight, and the mist deteriorated after she died in the book, we were just like, okay, I think she had the mist. Not to mention, it gives quite a good atmosphere when it comes to a fight in Battle of the Beast. Like, episode 8, I think it was? Yeah, episode 8. Yeah, check that out, and then you know what I mean. I may have had a bit too much fun with that one, though. So, but anyway, I got two beasts here, ready to fight. And whilst it may seem obvious which one might win, I think this is a fight which some people would want to see. However, this is a round 1 fight, and it might be a quick one. So, representing Series 2, the Golden Armour, there's only 2 beasts left in that series left to fight. And it is book number 4, Vipero, the Snake Man. Vipero's team consists of Zephyr, Claw, Sultra, Arachnid, and Trillian. Trillian hasn't fought yet. Arachnid and Zephyr and Claw have fought, but they've all perished. And Sultra has also fought, but has won. And now, on the other side, representing Series 7, The Lost World, book number 5, Ellik, the Lightning Horror. Now, like with Series 2, 4 of her teammates have already fought in the tournament. Those being Convul, Hellion, Crestor, Carnivora. Madara has yet to fight, but will soon, just not in the pile that's to my right. Convul is the only one of those 4 that has fought, which has not made it to the next round. Hellion, Crestor, and Carnivora, though, they have made it to the next round. But with that, we now know our 2 beasts fighting for the next spot in round 2. Yeah, so when it comes to my opinion on them, I do prefer one way more than the other. But that's because one is from one of my favourite seasons of Beast Quest, whilst one is from a series that I personally see as overrated. But Vipero is also an interesting beast, really. Because whilst I'm not the biggest fan of him, he is quite underrated. Same with Ellik as well. Ellik isn't the best of her series, but she's still quite good. Now, if there's anything I can say about these beasts, which will probably influence them more to be better, I think it's well, Vipero especially, I like a fair amount because, well, I like my reptilian beasts. Ellik, whilst not being a reptilian beast and being based on an eel, she still has that serpent-like look, which gives me that whole, oh, I like this beast kind of vibe. But yeah, that's it. So with that, Lucas, Impus, let's get to the stats.
Vipero the Snake Man. Anyone who survives the long journey into the depths of Avantia's blistering hot ruby desert might have the misfortune of crossing paths with Vipero. He is one of the largest reptiles in any of the known kingdoms. His 2 vicious snake heads contain fangs that drip poison. Most interesting is the human torso in the middle of the long green body, which gives him the ability to reach out and grab his enemies. Now onto his stats. Venomous fangs, fatal to humans if not treated ASAP. Heads can survive decapitation. Snake body increases the heat of the environment to the point all water dries up. And of course the snake coils to constrict the foe, making one deadly opponent in the tournament.
Ellik the lightning horror. Ellik lurks in swampy water where she can remain hidden from her prey. Despite her thick body, she can dart in the blink of an eye to snatch victims in her sharp fangs. Ellik's blue scales suck lightning from the sky, and she stores the charged energy ready to give her enemies a nasty shock. Now, onto her stats. Lightning absorption can absorb natural lightning into her body. Lightning breath can shoot the absorbed lightning from her mouth. Immune to electricity, and underwater breathing make her one deadly opponent in the tournament.
3, 2, 1!
Vipero versus Ellik. Place your bets. Okay, now that we're back. Okay, so now that we know their strengths, now let's go to their weaknesses. Vipero's weakness is low durability. In his book, he got killed by Epos almost effortlessly. So, with that gives the indication that Vipero isn't the best when it comes to taking a hit. That is his only weakness, though. Ellik's weakness is limited electricity. So, whilst one of her abilities is to absorb electricity and shoot it out from her mouth, if she runs out of electricity, she can't shoot lightning out of her mouth. Now, when it comes to the battlefield with these two beasts, I'm not really sure. Because, well, I think Ellik may need some water, but there was a part in the book where she wasn't in water at all, so she should be fine there. I guess... I'm not really sure what I can do here. I'll do a forest arena. Actually, no. I'll do the plain rocky arena like I always do. And that's because Vipero has an ability which can change the weather, the heat, make it a lot hotter. And Ellik, basically, Ellik has a giant size advantage. That's all I can really say. So with that, plain rocky arena, let's get into this. So as both beasts exit from their chambers, Vipero slithers out and instantly changes the rather mediocre temperature to a very humid, warm temperature. And Ellik makes her way out and roars to Vipero. Vipero just hisses in aggression, and Ellik instantly makes her way over to Vipero. Vipero readies himself, and right before Ellik is going to attack, she turns around almost instantly and using her tail, wraps her tail around Vipero's neck and torso, binding his arms together, lifts him up and smashes him in the ground multiple times. Like, repeatedly, on and 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 on. Vipero, feeling very weak and very faint about this, barely gets back up after Ellik releases them, ready to attack, and Ellik retaliates by roaring back to them, and goes to chomp down on them. Vipero moves his head out of the way just in time, and one of them goes to bite down on Ellik, and they actually land it. So they land the fight and infect her with their venom. Now I'm going to start a 10-minute timer. Now, I'm hoping, I don't know if he'll be doing it, but if Lucas is editing the video, timer right up there, starting now. So now, we've got a 10-minute timer, and I'm keeping track of it as well. That way I don't accidentally go over the timer limit. Oops. But Ellik is now being infected by the poison. It's not a very serious poison, but it's a poison that can give severe effects if left untreated. But yeah, Ellik in retaliation goes to bite down on them again, but they move out of the way, and in using one of their claws, scratches Ellik in the eye. Ellik roars in pain and just slithers up to Vipero and wraps her entire self around them, keeping their necks firmly together and keeping at a safe distance where they can't bite down on her. She then, what she does then is that she uses her head as a hammer, taking influence from Crestor here, and smashes her head into the walls of the arena. As the wall of the arena starting to topple down, she waits for the perfect moment to just stop trapping Vipero, release him of her grip, and gets out of the way just before the wall is about to tumble down on Vipero. Vipero sees that and tries to slither out of the way, but gets his tail caught in a rock, which Ellik placed on top of his tail without them or any of us noticing. Vipero looks up at the impending fate, and as the wall tumbles down on top of him. After the dust cleared, Ellik looks out into the pile of rubble looking for any signs of movement. And she sees one of Vipero's heads stick out, followed closely behind the other one. They get back out, very bruised and scraped, but they're still alive. They slither out, hissing in aggression. Ellik roars in frustration that they haven't died yet, and using all the amounts of limited electricity she can handle, because, well, she has a small amount of electricity at the start of every battle she will. And because it's not thunderstorming, obviously, yeah. So she has a small amount of electricity. And what she does is, she calls up to Vipero, traps him again, but this time only at the end of her tail. And holding him right in front of her mouth, and shoots a bolt of electricity right towards them. Absorbing some of the electricity herself, but then just instantly shooting it right back towards Vipero. So it's kind of like a circuit that goes round in a circle multiple times. So Ellik is shooting an endless bolt of electricity towards Vipero, which is shocking the living daylights out of them. They are convulsing everywhere. And it's not until Ellik decides to slam Vipero on the ground and keeps shooting at them until her electricity runs out that it finally stops. Vipero is feeling very weak, very bruised, and very, very shocked. Ellik just sees one of their claws twitch a little, and what Ellik does as a retaliation, she roars and bites down on both of Vipero's heads and tears them right off, swallowing them, and Vipero's body goes lifeless as a bunch of blood drips out. So with that, Ellik has won, Vipero has lost. The timer can be stopped now. If you think Vipero should have won, please leave in the comments below why you think that. However, my word's final and Ellik is moving on to the next round. Now, the reason why Ellik had won over Vipero is because Ellik has such a good size advantage that Vipero doesn't stand a chance. Now, I guess Vipero can kind of stand a chance when it comes to the venom that's inside his fangs, but it could only he only needs to last 10 more minutes after that. But if he gets killed after those 10 minutes, considering he could barely defend himself and can't take a hit, he's good as dead. Really, I think he should have died earlier in the fight, before Ellik decided to shoot tons of lightning at him. But I decided to give Vipero the benefit of the doubt because Vipero fans would want me to extend the fight a little, and that's what I did. I'm sorry Vipero has died, and there's still only one beast left in Series 2 that's yet to fight, and one beast that made it into Round 2 from Series 2. Hopefully Trillian will actually do good and make it into the next round, but we don't know who his opponent is yet. Yeah, he is in this pile I got, and whilst I do know his opponent, and Lucas knows his opponent, I'm not going to give any hints. But with that being said, that's all for this time. If you like what you saw, leave a like, leave a comment, don't forget to subscribe, press the notification bell down in the corner below, and I'll see you next time.